Hey, I have a question for you. Worried that other people might think you're being rude just because you said no? More about that right after the intro. Welcome to the Day One Journey, episode 216. Cha-ching. Yeah. So if you remember last episode, we talked about being worried that other people might think that we are weird. In today's episode, we ask a similar question. Are we worried that other people might think that we are being rude just because we said no? Well, for me, it's the same thing. It is worrying what other people think of me. Whether they would think that I'm weird, crazy, antisocial, or rude, for example. For me, it is the same thing. And how do I handle it? I go back to my priorities. I go back to asking myself, what is most important to me? And for me, right now in my life, what's most important to me is working on my projects. One of them, by the way, is this, me talking to you, the Day One Journey, of course. But still, these are my priorities. For example, right now in my life, my projects. So when I put my projects on one side, and on the other side, I put other people's opinions. This is the game of priorities. It is not as important to me to be worried about what other people think compared to doing the execution within my projects. This is how I handle it. I'd rather put my precious energy on the execution in my projects rather than putting my precious, limited, finite energy on worrying what other people might think of me. Whether it's being weird, antisocial, crazy, rude, or whatever. I understand and I keep reminding myself that my energy is finite, it is limited. That's why I want to strategize it. And that's why I decide not to care about what other people think of me, because I know it drains my energy. The same precious energy I want to put on my projects. And this is why I'm feeling more comfortable saying no. That's why I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable saying no when my friends or other people come to me with offers with let's go to that party, let's go to that event, let's go to that trip. I find more comfortable saying no because I know what's most important to me and I care less about what they would think of me. And this was my message for you for the day. Think about your priorities. Think about what's most important to you. And when you do want to say no to other things, and you find it a little bit difficult, and when you find yourself a little bit worried what they would think of you, just ask yourself, what is more important to you? Doing the things that you really want, your priorities? Because you say no for a reason, right? Because you'd rather do something else, whatever it is. So ask yourself in these kind of situations. This is my message for you, just a suggestion. Ask yourself, what is more important to you? Worrying what they would think of you? Or doing the execution, doing the actions to get you where you want to go? This is at least how I handle it. Still, it took me a while to understand how do I communicate that to my friends? How do I communicate saying no? Because usually they would ask, why not? And then I would find myself explaining myself. And this is, as I already shared with you, one of my biggest energy drainers in my life, explaining myself. And when I think about it, when I explain myself too much, it's also about worrying what they will think of me. Because I explain myself too much, it means I think for me that I'm too worried about them not understanding me. Which is again being too much worried about what they would think of me. So in the next episode, I'd like to share with you how I communicate that, how I communicate saying no to things without getting into the rabbit hole and explaining myself over and over or explaining myself too much. More about that in the next episode. But back to you. Yes, back to you. I have an interesting assignment for you for the day. Next time, when you have the urge to say no, when you prefer saying no to anything, and you find yourself a little bit worried about what the person in front of you might think of you, ask yourself, what's most important to you? Ask yourself what's most important to you. Raise that level of awareness of your priorities and ask yourself, is what you really want to do is more important than worrying about what the person in front of you would think of you? What is more important to you? What other people think of you, or doing the actions that you really want to do? Being true to your priorities. Raise that level of awareness. Do it the next time it happens to you. And of course, have an amazing day one. See you tomorrow.